mean, it really depends on the person. Like, there are so many different paths right now to it that it's very scary. Um, I mean, we could talk at length about any of the individual pathways. I mean, like, so two that I can think of. Um, there was a big connector from Gamergate to being like fascist, I guess, which seems strange, but a long time ago, do you know anything about Gamergate?
Yeah.
So this is contentious, but I'm going to be very, very charitable. And I'm going to say that when Gamergate started, it seemed to be that people were kind of rallying around this cause where gaming journalists were really, really bad. They just were horrible. Like game journalism was really bad back in the day. And there were people that I know aren't like insane, like Total Biscuit, that kind of sort of, championed the cause a little bit, although he never came out and said it, specifically. But that movement got hijacked very quickly by what I would characterize as anti-SJWs. So people that think they're into politics, but literally the entirety of their existence, the entirety of their political ideology can be summarized as whatever the SJWs do, I do the opposite of it. So if that means using racial slurs or homophobic slurs online, if that means hating on Democrats in the United States, if that means being pro-Brexit, I guess, because immigration and being pro-diversity is a PC thing, which is SJW virtues, like all of these weird political topics, like being pro-Trump, being pro-Brexit, got connected to these gamers that got like totally washed in like a running river, just got completely swept into this anti-SJW narrative that carried over and formed their entire political foundation that all of their views are based off. So if you were ever like a gamer that got into Gamergate and then you found yourself on subreddits like Kotaku in Action, you probably found yourself getting linked over or moved over to the Donald pretty quickly after that, because it seemed like that was just the path that connected those people, which I think is kind of sad. And then that was the first. Oh, and then like another chain could be somebody like Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson just connects with a lot of pretty bad people. There was kind of a paper released a little bit ago, kind of showing how once you click through to one Jordan Peterson link, you get all sorts of other people that are a lot more shady than JP on YouTube as well. That paper had some problems, but I think in general it remains true that once you start associating with Jordan Peterson on YouTube, you get linked to all these other videos by people like Stefan Molyneux or people like Steven Crowder or these other more crazy conservatives, and then into the Lawrence Southerns and stuff like that. And I think that people that follow Jordan Peterson, I think that if you're white and if you're a man, I think maybe you can get the feeling that society is kind of leaving you behind because all of these other people are starting to get their narratives now. You've been the default NPC or the default character in every video game and every movie and every form of entertainment and every part of culture and society for your entire life. And now when, movies like the Black Panther come out where they might make fun of a white guy and there's black people, or, other movies are being released and there's women instead of men, and you see all of these other people who are being empowered and, theoretically rising to the level that you were, you kind of get the feeling that you're losing ground. So I think Jordan Peterson gives a voice to that kind of discontent that a lot of younger, maybe adolescent or mid late 20s white men feel, and then they get connected into kind of those weird anti-SJW movements that way, because Peterson unfortunately can't help himself but give his horrible takes on political things as well. Sorry, that was kind of wordy. So.
No, that was great. That was a great response. And speaking, because you mentioned earlier just before with the Gamergate, have you heard the, I don't know how closely you'd sort of keep and sort of following Sargon of Akkad's sort of latest conquest, what he's trying to achieve?
Are you talking about the UKIP stuff?
Gamergate 2.0.
Why? Because he's losing relevancy and other? I don't understand. For what? What?
Well,
because there's too many women in games now, or what? I don't even know. I haven't followed this at all. Sorry. Sargon is so stupid. Have you heard the conversation of him with the UKIP guy, where the guy was basically saying like, "Why did you join? Why did you join the UKIP party?" And Sargon was like, "Oh, I just wanted to make a statement." And the guy's like, "Okay, you could have just voted for us. Like, are you gonna go to house to house and actually like help?" And he's like, "Oh, well, no, I don't think I should have to do anything." And I was like, "Okay, well, why did you join our thing?" Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Sargon is so stupid. Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. He basically wants to do Gamergate 2.0, but he also was looking at eventually trying to conjure up a scheme to get Donald Trump to tweet that Gamergate did nothing wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, Trump would probably do it if he got it.
Yeah, because he wanted the FBI to investigate it, and then... Because it seemed sort of... he seemed in a very sort of split mind. He was just like, I want to do it for the memes guys, but then he sort of seemed butthurt that Gamergate sort of got this bad rap, and he wanted the sort of the government to say, it's not that bad, guys. Come on.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, it sounds like a Sargon thing to do, but yeah.
Yeah, and
maybe we'll get another Law and Order episode out of it. I don't know if you ever saw that or not.
No, what's the regard with that? Oh, did they do Gamergate with Law and Order? Oh, I saw something like a meme.
Yeah, it was really cringy. Yikes! Oof.
Okay, and it's actually sort of I've spent sort of like the last couple of months sort of because I sort of the first time I saw you, I'm sort of relatively new, especially in your community, which you may have picked up on from my questions. But the first time I sort of saw you was in PKA. Um,
Oh
and
yeah, Woody's podcast. Yeah.
yeah, and from like initial and like how you spoke and how you talked about certain topics were very interesting and sort of was like almost sort of like a breath of fresh air in sort of certain regards. And but then when I sort of started watching sort of from your back catalogue, sort of progressing through, especially your debate content, you've definitely become a lot more pessimistic about sort of how you sort of view sort of intellectual sort of debates, especially on YouTube or the intellectuals as well. And so where I'm getting at with this, I guess, is that do you regret a lot of those discussions and debates because of the view you're in now, or do you think it's important for yourself that you were just like it was better to know rather than to live in blissful ignorance?
No, I mean, I for almost everything I've done in my life, I valued widening my horizon. Even if it was a very unpleasant experience, it's kind of illustrated how much more there is to know about everything, and I would prefer unlocking an uncomfortable truth over living in a more kind of blissfully ignorant state. So, I mean, I'm grateful that I've done it, and it's kind of helped to shape my opinions. I've become a lot more cynical and pessimistic about people in general, but I mean, I'd rather that to be more realistically grounded than to have an unfounded optimism, I guess.